Hello and welcome to the CNSS podcast. My name is Hamsini Hariharan, and I'm a non resident visiting fellow at the Center for National Security Studies, which is hosted by the MS Ramaya University of Applied Sciences in Bengaluru. Our guest for today's episode is Dr. Roding. Dr. Roding is a Chin American activist and politician who has been involved in the democracy struggle in Myanmar. He's the board chairman of the Burmese American Community Institute and the chairman of the United States Chin Coalition. He is also the NUG representative for India. To mark the fourth year of the coup in Myanmar, Dr. Ding and I sit down to discuss the view of the National Unity Government, or the NUG, and the response of the international community to the crisis in Myanmar. Listen in. Dr. Roding, welcome to the CNSS podcast. We're so happy to have you today with us, sir. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Thank you, Hamsini. Thank you very much for inviting me here. That is my pleasure. And yes, I was born in western part of Burma, Chin State. And as you may know, that we Chin and Mizos are the same people and divided by international boundary in 1937. And my native language, my mother language is Mizo, for your information. So, and I speak many dialects of Chin Mizo the languages. And I completed my veterinary doctor in Burma, in Rangoon University. And then I left my country in 1996 when my father, who was elected member of parliament, MP
Mhm.
from Aung San Suu Kyi's party, was arrested by military regime along with my older brother. It was in 1996. And then I was in New Delhi as the United Nation recognized refugee
Mhm.
almost 9 years, 1996 to 2004. And then I got the scholarship from the United States government, State Department, and I settled in United States. It was about 20 years. I completed my master in political science in Ball State University. Then after military coup in 2021, the NUG invite me to take the position of the representative to India, and then I joined NUG, the foreign ministry. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, sir, for that introduction.
Mhm.
Um, since the coup, can you explain to us, actually, before even the coup, since you've lived in India, and you are the NUG representative for India, could you tell us about the relationship between NUG and India?
Yep, we share a very, very long, the international boundary. To be exact, it is 1,643 kilometer. India and Burma share the boundary, and also we share the our people. Let's say there are Nagas in Burma, Nagas in India. There are Kachin in Burma called Jingpo. And there are Singpo, that the same people in Arunachal Pradesh, Chin, Mizo, like what? So we have a very good relation since long year time ago. And first Anglo-Burmese War happened, broke in 1824, and according to Rendezvous Agreement, some part of Burma were annexed to India, to be exact, Arakan and Tanintari, the lower Burma. And in 1885, the last king of Burma, King Thibaw, was arrested and exiled to India. first of all in Calcutta and then to Ratnagiri near Mumbai. The last king was Dai in the near Ratnagiri, Mumbai. And then after that, Burma was under the Burma was totally annexed to India, ruled
Mm,
by Viceroy of India.
mm,
Only in 1937, Burma was separated and ruled by the separate governor,
mhm,
and some uh, some river and some mountain range become the international boundaries that divide the Burma and India. And
mhm,
the pre-independent era, Burma leaders were fighting together along with Indian freedom fighters like our independent hero Aung San,
mm,
who was the father of Aung San Suu Kyi, is very good friend of Nehru and Gandhi, and they
mm,
fought together to get independent from British.
mm,
And India and Burma got independent 6 months apart. 1947, India got independent, and 1948, January, Burma got her independent. And also after the post-independent era, also India and Burma had very good relationship. Like our prime minister, the people's elected prime minister UNU,
mm,
was working closely together with Nehru and Indian leaders. Even they formed the non-alliance countries or non-alliance organization called Bandung, the conference, and Nehru and UNU was the leader or the architect of that non-aligned movement, like that. So let me say, India and Burma relationship was very good. And in 1988, also the military coup, the first, let me say before that, 1962, the first military coup. The military took power, led by General Ne Win. And at that time, the India's support uh, was immense, prominent to Prime Minister UNU. Even UNU came to India, refuge in India. And in 1988, when the military coup led by Ne Win saw Mong again, India support, we got India support, like I myself, it's support by Indian government. I got the uh, residential permit from India when I escaped to India in 1996 when my father was arrested. Like that, All India Radio and the Indian governments supported democracy movement, like student revolution movement, to toward democracy in Burma. But
mm,
in 1991 to 94, India
mhm,
implemented the Look East policy.
mm,
So we come to experience that India is interesting, uh, uh, try to communicate more with the military junta in Burma. And again in 2014, India implemented Act East, not only
mm,
Look East, but it became Act East policy. So right now, let me say in short, we really appreciate India's support to democracy in Burma, but we don't very much satisfied about India's support to democracy in Burma, our movement. Thank you.
mm, mm. Thank you, sir, for that very comprehensive history. I think in the last couple of minutes, you've covered all the way from
Mm-hmm.
pre independence to modern times. And I think that's very useful for us to set the
Mm-hmm.
context of the conversation because a lot of times for people living in mainland India, they think that Myanmar is very far. But actually, if you look at the borders in the region, they're so porous. People across all, so many parts of eastern India and Myanmar shares so much. And so I
Mm-hmm.
really identify with what you're saying. And now, and since we're moving towards the coup and the military junta, could you tell us a little bit of about the major priorities of the national unity government um, right now in the 4 years after the coup? How does it play out within Myanmar? How does it play out with um, diaspora worldwide? Because there are so many
Mm-hmm.
people who've left the country because of the conflict.
Thank you for that question. The NUG, National Unity Government's main goal is to establish federal democracy in Burma. In short, to get democracy, peace, equality in Burma. So to achieve that goal, we have a 12-step roadmap that we are fighting for. We follow that the 12 step. Currently, we think that we are in the step of the 6 or 7. That means uh, we are trying to pull down, trying to keep aside the military junta in Burma. So, in short, the first thing is to eliminate the military dictatorship in Burma. Second main goal is to draft and to implement the federal democratic constitution in Burma. And the third is to get and to form civil federal democratic government in Burma. That is the main goal of NUG. Regarding the people's support, yes, let me say we got more than 90% of the people's support inside Burma. And also, let me say, more than 90% support of the people outside Burma, the diaspora Burmese worldwide. And only because of that, NUG is doing good till today. I mean, we don't have any support from the foreign countries. We don't have any support from any uh, the big countries or small countries worldwide. But NUG is mainly NUG's main strength. That the supporter only supporters Burmese in the diaspora. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, sir. It's incredible how difficult it is for the NUG to
Mhm.
function, but they're still doing so much. Can you explain to me a little bit about why it is so difficult to establish a federal constitution or a federal democracy in Myanmar?
It is the main reason it is so difficult is military, only military. See, as I mentioned before, Indian leaders and Burma leaders fought together for independent from British
Mm,
rulers, and we practice Burma practiced 14 years of parliament democracy. At
mm,
that time, Burma was so prosperous, so developed. Uh, you may wonder if I say this now. Rangoon, the capital city, was the most beautiful city in Southeast Asia. And Rangoon University was the best university in Southeast Asia. Many Southeast Asian students came and studied in the Rangoon University. We enjoy, let me say, 14 years of parliament democracy like India. But
Mm-hmm.
in a sudden 1964 62 military coup make the country's development upside down, and the military coup pull the country and the people to hell, let me say. So Burma is become the least development country according to United Nations in 1980s. Till today, Burma is the poorest country in the world. So what I want to point out is Burma was rich 14 years of
Mm-hmm.
democracy, and
Mm-hmm.
military is the only culprit of the Burma that
Mm-hmm.
that pulled down to the poorest country in the world. And now we try to get the democracy, restoration of democracy, and the leaders try every way, every means to get peace and democracy in Burma. And the sole organization of the sole body that against that the peace and democracy is military. They want their power. They want to maintain the power. That is the only culprit of restoration of democracy in Burma. So, in short, they hold guns and they use the more than 50% of the country's budget to build their uh, arms strength that block the democracy in Burma. So the military is the only uh, culprit that block prosperous of Burma.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for explaining that to me, sir. When we think about the military junta in Myanmar, one of its major supporters is China. But China also supports other players in Myanmar and smaller armies as well. So, how does the NUG view China, particularly its support for multiple players in the Myanmar political landscape?
Uh, we appreciate China's the support to the some of the democratic revolutionaries who are in the China-Burma border, and China is our neighbor, and we respect China's role also. But I think you uh, you are right. China is the main supporter of the military junta in Burma, and China always think about their own benefit and their country first. So
Mm,
uh, th- th- like like this day that implemented in 2013 the BRI Belt and Road Initiative
mm,
project. There are about 60 small and big the projects of BRI inside Burma. Uh, China want to implement those projects as soon as possible, and they want to try to complete this project. And also, China's concern is they want to keep, they want to get free access to Indian Ocean.
mm,
So, and also another thing that the China's recent uh, interest concern was the cyber crime. Who are that those cyber crime are based inside Burma, China Burma border, for, and also drug trafficking from inside Burma, and there are the very good rare earth metal minings inside Burma. For those interests, China is watching closely what is the political situation in Burma. Right now, I think China play double role. In other side, China want the uh, peace and stability of the border area. China want to eliminate the cyber crimes who attack the Chinese people from inside Burma.
Mhm.
At the same time, China want China does not want the fall of military junta. So it's very hard to uh, predict what will China play in the future also. But we and NUG has good relationship with China also. But China, let me say, China plays uh, its own interest. That is what we are thinking.
Mm. On one hand, you have China, on the other hand, you have the US, where you also live. So, how do you see US NUG Myanmar relations? And now there is a new administration in the US under President Donald Trump. So, where do you see the US NUG Myanmar relationship moving in the second Trump administration?
We are happy and appreciate India's stance for supporting human rights and democracy, not only in Burma, around the world. And we are thankful for that. And NUG is for restoration of democracy. In
Mm,
that interest, the same interest, uh, U.S. is supporting, recognizing uh, NUG's hard work. That we are very thankful for that. And but at the other side, U.S. does not have direct interest inside Burma, rather than this uh, human right, democracy, and also we can say some drug trafficking problem. Only that, and also India. I mean, U.S. concern is China's influence in Burma. So in that case, in the other hand, U.S. support or U.S. recognize NUG a lot. We are thankful that we have the our NUG office in Washington D.C.
mm,
and and also we are thankful that Bur- uh, the Bur- the Burma Act
mm,
2022 was signed by President of United States in December 23rd, 2022. And with that, uh, we are thankful to U.S. government and the U.S. human rights organizations and USAID and the humanitarian organizations. Um, yeah, you are right. January 20, U.S. will have new president, new government. As you may aware that uh, President-elect Donald Trump's policies, MAGA, make America great again. So I think that the President Trump will more emphasize, more concern about the inside uh, U.S. I mean, the economic policy
mm,
and refugee policy, immigrant problem more than international affairs. But
mm,
I, as you may aware, that the U.S. government's foreign policy is draft and implement by the Congress, the Foreign Affairs Committees.
mm,
And fortunately, we have some of the prominent the senators, congressmen who are interesting Burma, and let me say our good friends that who are champions of the Burma democracy and human rights. So I don't think after January 20 in U.S. Policy, foreign policy will not change too much, and U.S. government support to Burma, the restoration of democracy will be almost the same. And another good thing that we are seeing is the President Trump will appoint new state secretary Marco Rubio. Marco
Mm,
Rubio has the good knowledge about Burma, and he is a good supporter for our movement. So let me say, Marco Rubio, the incoming Secretary of State, is the good friend of us. So we are hoping through him also, and we hope that the through Burma Act we will get more support from U.S. government. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's good to know that the incoming Secretary of State has knowledge and sort of appreciates what is happening in Myanmar. Just for people who aren't familiar, could you tell us a little bit about the Burma Act and how maybe since 2022, what it's done for the NUG?
Yeah, the in we call it in short Burma Act, but its full name is Burma Unified Through Rigorous Military Accountability Act. That is uh, approved by the Congress in December 2022 and signed by the President Biden on December 23rd of 2022. Uh, it is, in general, it is supporting restoration of democracy in Burma, and it has two or three parts. It said they stop the military action in Burma by the military junta, release all the political prisoners, including Aung San Suu Kyi, and the military will take the responsibility of the human crime against humanity in Rakhine on Rohingya
Mm,
people like that. And also it's mentioned that U.S. government will U.S. government must support some amount of funds to the
mm,
pro-democracy movements, like non-lethal assistance to ethnic armed organization and the support of political prisoners, humanitarian aid, like that. In 2024, according to Burma Act, the Congress uh, uh, allocate dollar $136 million
oh,
for
wow.
2024, like that. So that is the Burma Act.
Mm. Thank you for that, sir. And I guess that it's good that that the U.S. under the Burma Act has pledged sort of money year on year, and I guess this would be the guiding policy from now
Mhm,
on, even through the second Trump administration. Um, I want to move a little bit to another
mhm,
player who's very important in the region, and that's the Association for Southeast Asian Nations, or
mhm,
ASEAN. Recently, the ASEAN ministers resolved to stick to the ASEAN consensus plan as the way forward to find a solution to the crisis
mhm.
in Myanmar. How do you see this approach?
Let me clarify about the Asian 5 point consensus, the background, very
Mhm.
short. Uh,
Yes, please.
yes, it was February 1st, 2022, 2021, sorry, that Min Aung Hlaing took military coup. And as soon as the military coup happened, the internationals respond to the military coup happen. And then yeah, ASEAN countries, there are 10 countries, the Southeast Asian nations, they, they call Min Aung Hlaing to the ASEAN meeting in April, and the 5 point consensus, the 5 point agreement was agreed in that meeting. Min Aung Hlaing was there. Min Aung Hlaing accept the 5 point consensus. But as soon as he came back from the meeting, he suddenly declared that Burma is not ready to implement those
Mhm.
agreements again. But till today, we see that Burma, the military junta, did not follow, did not implement the 5 point consensus. That is very sad thing. And in general, NUG welcome 5 point consensus because the 5 point consensus it is the very good the points like immediate cessation of the violence, then dialogue between all the uh, stakeholders, all the
Mhm.
parties, and also appoint special envoy by ASEAN to Burma, Burma special envoy. And fourthly, humanitarian aid. We welcome it. And the final and fifth point is special envoy may, special envoy will travel freely inside Burma and meet all the parties, like I mean, Aung San Suu Kyi and all the opposition. But yeah, let me say we welcome it. But the problem is the military junta itself. As I said before, as soon as Min Aung Hlaing came back, he said Burma is not ready to implement. And the other side, the 5 point consensus is non-binding decisions. And ASEAN is loosely formed organization. Let me say it's mainly based on the economic cooperation only. And the constitution itself mentioned that no interfere with the member countries inside political problem,
Mhm.
and no binding. And also there is no timeline, time limit for 5 point consensus. And there is no binding decision. If it is not followed, this will be done, this will
Mhm.
that. So uh, uh, as I said, we welcome it, but we do not hope 5 point consensus will not will solve. We do not hope. We do not think it will solve Burma's problem, and we think that it is very weak. ASEAN should do more than this. That is our thinking, our concept.
I agree with you, sir. I think the ASEAN's consensus approach is its biggest strength, and that's also its biggest
Mhm.
weakness, the fact that it's
Yes.
loose. So it works in multiple ways, but particularly
Yeah.
in Myanmar, we have to see how it would shape up. We've spoken about a number of important stakeholders on the borders and outside. And so, in the 4 years since the coup, overall, how do you think the international community has responded to the Myanmar conflict? And what should they be focusing on? What should the priority areas be in the short term, in the medium term, and the long term?
Mhm. Yeah, we welcome all the international community who support us. When I say us, mean the restoration of democracy, peace, and stability of Burma. We welcome all, even our neighbor countries. And uh, but we don't satisfy the international support uh, up to this date. And like UNO, the United Nations, uh, even Security Council, the resolution number 2669, we welcome it. Uh, but again, it has no binding force, binding power. We
Mm,
understand that it's very difficult to make harsh or binding uh, decision in
mm,
the Security Council because of China and Russia. They always complain about the harsh, even strong words in the resolution. And because of that, even United Nations Security Council cannot do more than that. That is the real situation. But we do hope more international support, especially to India. Uh,
mm,
as I mentioned before, we have many share interest with India. Um, like India always, according to our study, India
mm,
always in India has many interests to what Burma. Uh, 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 to pick some point, like India has interest of stability of the border in the Burma border, counter terrorism, and northeast insurgency, who are sometimes make camps resided in Burma side, and drug trafficking, and of course arms smuggling from Burma, and organized cross-border crimes in between Burma and India, and also refugee problem. There are thousands of the refugees who in flood who escaped to India, especially Mizoram and Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal Pradesh. We have the big number of refugees who escaped to India. So for those interests, India need to do more about that to uh, to get or to erase those problems. And
mm,
the main solution is restoration of democracy in Burma, so that
mm,
law and order will be in Burma. Until and unless that, India will have this problem.
mm,
And let me say, border fencing or revoking free movement regime will not solve the problem.
mm,
And the long-term problem solving is restoration of democracy in Burma. So we would like to urge India to support us to get democracy in Burma, and to the international community, we have short and medium term priority areas.
mm,
For the short term priority, stop. Number one is stop military attack to the
mm,
civilians. Now you will hear that every day the military junta is bombing innocent people. We're using their jet fighters that they purchase from Russia every day. Peoples are dying. And stop arms supply to the military junta and sanction against military so that they to stop their financial gains.
mm,
And of course, humanitarian aids we
Mhm.
need in urgent. Uh, there are about 8 million refugees or displaced, internally displaced people in Burma after military coup. There
Mhm.
are many millions of children who did not get any vaccines in after military coup. They are in the India Burma border also. The children are dying, and there are no schools since 2021. So we need the humanitarian aids for that. And the uh, medium uh, priority is the process. International must support us to the process of restoration of peace and democracy in Burma.
Mhm.
And finally, the long-term solution is establish federal democratic government constitution in Burma. Only then all the Burma uh, problem will be solved.
Thank you, sir. I think if I'm understanding you right, you're saying that
Mm.
irrespective of what we do on the short term and the medium term, whether it's India or the international community, the long term aim of sort of restoring democracy to Myanmar has to remain paramount to everything we're discussing.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rodin.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for your
thank you,
time and for
thank
joining
you.
us today. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
That brings us to the end of today's episode with Dr. Roding. The CNSS podcast is brought to you by the Center for National Security Studies. The Center for National Security Studies was founded in 2023 as a multidisciplinary center of excellence for the study, research, and dissemination of subjects of non traditional and traditional national security. CNSS was established by an MOU between MS Ramaya University of Applied Sciences and the Army Training Command. You can find out more about the work done here at cnss.msruas.ac.in.